We always say the first level of leadership that always is crucial in any school is the leadership of the teachers themselves. And the irony is very often the teachers have defined themselves to not be leaders, or they've internalized stories, criticisms, external points of view. They hear again and again that, well, you're not the leaders, the principal is the leader, or whoever. So the first real step is for teachers to really see that it's up to them in some sense. Nothing can ever change in a school at some level if teachers aren't part of leading that change. Now, that said, principals are also really important because, in a sense, a principal is responsible for the environment within which a group of teachers are working. The school as a climate. Does the climate of the school encourage people to take risks? Does it encourage people to make a mistake and they won't get punished, but they can learn from their mistakes? Does it create an environment where teachers help each other learn what's working, what's not working? So the principal is a very, very important role in the school. It's a critical leadership role. We often call it the local line leader. It's analogous to a person in a manufacturing facility who's got responsibility for how the whole facility works. School is very different than a manufacturing facility, but it's analogous in this sense. That local line leader, and line means responsible for outcomes at the level of the school as a whole, is very important. Because if that person doesn't encourage risk-taking, doesn't encourage collaboration amongst the teachers, it makes it harder for teachers to do what the teachers can do. So it's not either or, it's a big and. Teachers as leaders, principals as leaders. The most neglected, missing idea of leadership of all, though, is really the students. Because to really transform the environment of a school, ultimately, in a way, the most important leaders are the students themselves. If they don't get enthused about what they're doing, if they don't see the meaningfulness for them, we all know that ultimately the energy of all learning comes from learners. In a way, the teachers are trying to create an environment, a setting, in a classroom, or in their interactions with students. They're basically trying to create a local space where that enthusiasm can come forward. But ultimately, the real enthusiasm, the real energy for change in schools comes from students themselves. And ideally, not only in a subject, but in the climate of the school. Students starting to take some responsibility for the safety, for the sense of psychological safety that not only they, but other students experience. Students are really important leaders. So it's a big and. It's teachers, it's principals, it's students. And then eventually you start to look at the whole larger system and you realize, well, there's a lot of leadership that comes from everywhere. Parents can be very important leaders. Community, engaged community, what we often have called civic engagement on the part of community leaders can be very important. So there's many, might say rings or levels of leadership. So it's the first and most important idea is it's not just one person.